Summer means many different things to different people. The thrill and the fun of the sport of surfing.
You know, all the early films, you know, I would personally narrate. We'd rent an auditorium and I'd sit up on the stage with a tape recorder and play the music and personally narrate the thing. And even with Endless Summer, we did that for like 2 years before we ever got into theatrical release. Some people hated it. It's like one of the critics said it sounded like Howdy Doody. So I guess you either liked it or you hated it. Well, it's funny with the movie thing, you know, when I still lived in the Long Beach area, the neighbors and stuff kind of like, well, when are you gonna get a job? Or, oh, I'm making these movies. Yeah. And then Endless Summer, when that came out and got all the publicity, then they all said, we're so proud of you. And I'm thinking, bullshit. You know, it's just because you think I made some money, that's no way to judge anybody. With Endless Summer, we'd have lunch with the critics. And for some reason, all the old critics, you know, the patriarchs, they all loved it. And you'd see these young guys, you know, you could tell they didn't care much for it. But during the lunch, I'd always go, you know, I don't know what it is with some of these young film critics, but it must be a threat to their masculinity or some, you know, I'd make sort of these backhanded comments, and I could tell I'd read the review that they didn't really want to say anything too bad.
Right. When you came out with Endless Summer, did you know what you had on your hands? Did you know you had the definitive all-time classic of surf movies forever?
No, I had no idea. We premiered it up in L.A. and when it was over, you know, I expected people to start clapping and stuff, and there was just dead silence. I'm thinking, oh my God, I've gone all this work, and they hate it. And then about 15 seconds went by, and they all started cheering and clapping. Whew! Thank goodness. But then showing it, it just would, you know, I mentioned it just kept drawing more and more and more crowds. And that's what led us to try and think maybe we could go theatrical. But nobody was interested. You know, I won't play anywhere, you know, away from the coast. So we rented a theater in Wichita, Kansas, in the middle of the winter and showed it still in 16, and it broke the theater record. Played there in a week for a week in the middle of a blizzard, and broke the theater record that was held by My Fair Lady. And so we thought, well, that'll prove it to them. Well, it didn't. Yeah. But we thought the distributors and stuff were in California. Then we found out it's all happens in New York. So we went to New York and rented a theater, borrowed all the money we could, blew it up to 35 millimeter, which you weren't supposed to be able to do at the time, and showed it ourselves in a theater that we just rented. And all the highbrow, like the New Yorker, and I don't even know what they're talking about half the time, but you know, they gave it great reviews and stuff. And it played there for a year in that one theater, and it was a theater we could afford, but it was kind of a rundown neighborhood. It was urban renewal, you know, I mean, all the little stores and stuff. When it closed after a year, all the local merchants called up and sang a song, you know, like, it was amazing.